What's up guys, Chadley here, back with another Borderlands 3 video. And if you guys celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas, but we're finally back. And in today's video, we're going to be ranking all 4 of the Vault Hunters. This is my ranking based on what I think their overall usefulness and strengths are in the takedown, bosses, mobbing, and all that. Now this is my personal opinion, so if you guys have a ranking that differs from mine, make sure to leave it down below as a comment and let me know why. So for this list, we're going to start at our worst character and work up to our best character. And I'm going to give positive and negatives for each character. And then at the end, we're going to go over ways that Gearbox can actually balance some of these characters without actually nerfing our top characters. But with that being said, let's just jump right into the rankings. Now I'm sorry Mo's players, for me personally, I really only use her for boss killing. And that's just for bosses that don't go immune. If there's a boss that goes immune, I usually end up using someone else too, just because it takes too long to go in and out of Iron Bear and the cooldown and all of that. But I will admit, she does some insane damage with the right weapons and skills to those bosses that don't go immune. Also, I do have a ton of fun with her bullet hose builds. I'm actually going to have one here within the next few days for you guys. But moving on to her negatives, her 1 HP builds are usually her strongest, and that actually makes the takedown quite a bit difficult, especially when you get to the Wotan fight. All the strikers and stuff like that there are going to just straight up one-shot you. Now another negative for Mo's is that her only lifesteal ability is Vampire, and a lot of the really good grenades in the game don't actually work for it. For example, the Hex. The only time the Hex will actually heal you with Vampire is the initial explosion that starts all the beams that come out of the Hex. None of the beams that actually hit somebody heal you. This is a huge shame, and it requires some pretty weird grenades to actually get it to heal you properly. In my opinion, lifesteal is what separates our bottom 2 Vault Hunters from our top 2, and I'll get into that after we get through all the rankings. Also, Iron Bear is still really not good for Mo's. It takes way too long to get in and out, and with action skill and bonus elemental damage anointments being as strong as they are, it is really annoying for Mo's to keep having to go in and out of Iron Bear to take advantage of those anointments. So that's why I actually think Mo's is our worst character right now. Hopefully that will change in the future. But if you guys think she deserves to be higher on the list, make sure to let me know why down below. Coming in at our number 3 spot is my boy Flack. Now this kind of frustrates me because he could easily be our number 1 or 2 Vault Hunter if he had some sort of lifesteal or his health regen skills were a little bit stronger. On Mayhem 4, without lifesteal and his weak health regen skills, it just does not keep you alive, especially in the takedown when you have like 20 enemies shooting you at one time. But positives I like with Flack is he has some insane boss damage, especially if you take advantage of Torg stickies. And with all of his different action skills, you can make use of a wide variety of weapons, so it's not just like one useful thing to use with Flack. Now moving on to his negatives, the only way you can actually get some useful healing is using the auto idle relic, and that really limits your build diversities. Also, all of his action skills have a potential to be really good, but they do deserve some tweaking for Mayhem 4. Fadeaway is really short right now, and they definitely did not plan ahead when they nerfed him back at the launch of Borderlands 3. Another negative is while you're in Fadeaway, you're still targeted by Wotan strikers, ballistas, and krakens, all with the one-shot missiles and stuff like that. So even going into Fadeaway, you're not safe. And then he has skills that boost his damage while he's still, and you just can't do that in Mayhem 4 in the takedown. Moving on to our number 2 spot, I'm going to have to say that belongs to Zane. Now Zane is one of the most fun and most powerful Vault Hunters in the game. And I'm not going to lie, his gameplay is very engaging and rewarding, and it's some of my favorite gameplay in the game right now. Also with the build I'm running with him, you're basically invincible. It's a little nuts. I'll share it with you guys here soon. But like any Vault Hunter, he is not without his flaws. So onto his negatives. So right now his Seeing Dead class mod is by far his best class mod, and so it's really tough to actually use any other class mods, especially if you plan to use the takedown. His Infiltrator class mod is pretty good, but if you plan on doing the takedown, definitely Seeing Dead is by far your better option, as this will give you the lifesteal that you need to stay alive. Also, his Seeing Dead class mod is locked behind the DLC, so if you don't feel like buying any more add-ons to the game, you're gonna miss out on this really awesome class mod. Also, with some of his builds, it's really hard to make use of action skill and anointments, and like I said earlier, those are by far the best anointments in the game and are extremely helpful for getting through the takedown. Now finally moving on to our number 1 spot, we only have one option left, so that means this is gonna have to go to Amara, and many of you guys probably saw that coming. There's just no other Vault Hunter that can output the damage that Amara can. She has by far the best crowd control in the entire game by a mile when using the recursion. And sometimes the recursion can end up in like some of the best boss damage given the correct scenarios. With Amara, I can consistently beat the takedown in less than 10 minutes with barely even trying. And she can just abuse action skill and anointments to no end using phase cast. And also her anointments dedicated to phase cast and phase slam are some of the best anointments in the game as well. She also has the best survivability in the game when using her skill sustainment. You can stand right in the middle of however many enemies you want and you will not die as long as you're hitting people with elemental weapons. Now she does have some negatives, and that is Spiritual Driver is still her best class mod for her, especially since Phase Zerker actually got nerfed. It has less cooldown and less gun damage per rush stack, so this really limits her build diversity because most people are still going to be running Spiritual Driver. Also, this build is a little tough to play since your movement speed is so fast. It's really hard to aim, especially if you guys are on like console and stuff like that. And a lot of people hate that, which I completely understand. But now for the main reason why I wanted to make this video. I just want to talk about some ways that Gearbox can change these Vault Hunters around and make them all on an even playing field. Now, like I said several times already, lifesteal is the biggest difference between these 4 Vault Hunters. Moze and Flack can definitely do more damage than Zane in a lot of scenarios, and even Amara in some scenarios. But right now for endgame content, enemies are just doing way too much damage to Moze and Flack for them to keep up with their lack of lifesteal and health regen. With them, you have to play really slow and you can still die insanely fast from certain enemies, while Zane and Amara can just stand in the middle of a dozen enemies and be perfectly fine with their lifesteal abilities. Every character needs some sort of lifesteal to stay alive here on Mayhem 4. Things Gearbox could do to change this would be to add class mods for Moze and Flack that would let them regen health or shields. An idea I had for Flack would be he'd get lifesteal based on crit damage dealt. Then an idea I had for Moze would be the longer she fires her weapon, the more her shield recharges. Or if they really want to, they could add a lifesteal relic that gives a small percentage of damage back his health, maybe like 5% or something like that. Nothing much is perfectly fine. I will take any percent of health back on damage with Moze and Flack, especially with the amount of damage that they can put out. Also, if they can make it so Flack was not targeted at all by any enemy while in fadeaway, that would be really nice. Now I know they're going to shoot the area you go into fadeaway in, but even if you move 100 feet away somehow, there's certain enemies who will continue to shoot you the entire time you are moving from one place to another. But hopefully all that made sense to you guys. If you guys have any other ideas on how to make these characters a little bit more even, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious to know what you guys think and some of the ideas you have. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go follow me on Twitter at Chadley_99. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Chadley99. Also, make sure to go join the Discord. There's trading, chat, all sorts of good stuff. Make sure to go check it out in the links in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.